How the heck are you guys? I am Fastidious. Welcome to my channel and welcome to a hero guide on the brand new Nightmare Fighter Magmus. As you can see from the top of your screen, we are on the test server. That is correct. We are on the Fastidious test server. Let me get out of Artifact Material Raid. More on that, little teaser for the end of the video. You can see over here, there we are. This is the test server. Don't get it twisted, people. Let's head in and let's talk about Magmus. So this hero, a lot of people are going to say is terrible. I'm going to be honest. They're going to get him and they're going to say he is terrible. And that's not true. But anyone that tells you he is good, either they have figured something out that I could not, or they're lying. Because he is not good. He is very mid, and I will say he is the kind of hero that I'm okay with. You know, I will say one thing I'm not okay with, and I'll go on and off about this a lot. His skills and his kit is very confused. It does not know what it is trying to be, and I find that very annoying. I find that very frustrating. But at the end of the day, the product of what he is and the output that he puts out on the field is exactly okay. He is like a very solid C. For early and mid-game players, I think he actually will be kind of a delight. He reminds me a lot of Abomination. In certain ways, he might be slightly better. In certain key ways, I think he's worse. Also, Abomination is 100% free to play, so it's like kind of lame that you might pull this guy when you could easily just use Abomination or even use Abomination to better effect. That being said, though, I do not think he is bad. This is not like an Azor level hero or an Edith level hero. You'll hear me mention them a bit later on in the video as well. So there is a lot to break down. There is nuance to the kit, and I am going to go kind of in on how I think they could already make him better without making him busted. I have no problem with heroes that aren't amazing, but I kind of do have a problem with the heroes whose kit is so confused with what it's trying to be. It's sloppy. They just kind of threw a bunch of stuff in a bowl, and they're just hoping it works. It doesn't not work, but it certainly doesn't work. It's like, you're going to see. Okay, you're going to see. Let's get into this Magmus guide, and let's break this boy down.
Fastidious.
Fastidious.
Okay, guys, getting right into it, I want to let you know, I think I want to do a bit of a broader strokes breakdown. I'm not going to read every single word of every part of the kit. I will get into each part, but I just want you to have a general understanding so then I can talk more specifically about how each puzzle piece that is each skill in his kit kind of doesn't fit together properly, and it's kind of making me angrier and angrier the more I think about it and the more I talk about it. But first, it is wallet time. This video's sponsor is Exter, the inventors of the world's first trackable wallet. Right here, I have got the Parliament wallet in the brand new color, Brown Saffiano. This guy is super thin. Just look at him compared to my old fat wallet. It has got quick card access and, of course, features Exter's signature tracker. The Exter wallet is half the size of a conventional wallet, but still carries 12 cards and cash. Buy your very own Exter wallet today using my link in the description and the top pinned comment. Go to the link and use my discount code FASTIDIOUS to get an additional 5% discount on top of web sales, including the 25% off spring cleaning sale running right now. Thank you very much, Exter. Let's get back to the video. So let's start with the good. Details, right? The actual attributes, super high. I mean, that HP 26.9, very high for a fighter, not highest in the game level like Abomination over here at 30.5, but 26.9. Why did they not just make this 27k? Why is it 26.998? I don't know, but super high, right? You can build him up very, very nicely. Then you'll see with attack, insanely high. Second in the game only to Ardia. You can see he is at 7967, whereas Ardia, oh my god, Northerner, Ardia is going to come in at 7976. So it is literally a 9 attribute difference, a 9 attack difference when it comes to that base. Let me actually throw on the gear that you're going to see him on to begin the video with, just so you can see. This is a pretty juiced up build. We'll get into that in a second. But yeah, the stats are very nice. The defense is even okay. Everything else pretty standard. Rage Regen Auto at 13, it's all right. I'd love to see it at 14, like some of the other things that seem to be standard. But you can see someone like Valeria has 13. Volka's all the way down at 12. Maybe actually Arrogance really is just a superstar there. Is he the only one? I just use Arrogance all the time. I thought that was the standard. Here's Admiral Claw with 14. But you can see the Rage Regen Auto. This is how much Rage Regen, regardless of anything else, you will just produce a second. Totally different than Rage Regen Attack or Attacked. Those are the things Rage Regen percentage scales off of. But all in all, it's fine. Actually, 13 feels exactly normal. That's kind of a breakdown of the stats. Let's get into the kit. So you can see he's got a talent here. Something called Magma Burst arrives. It's every 7 seconds. It can stack it for 3 seconds. This is not like permanent stacks, though, because he can consume them. So what is that? If we go to the Magma Burst, he'll consume one. 125% AoE damage to the target. What does that mean, AoE damage to the target, right? Does it mean everywhere around? No, it's just a multi-hitter. It's up to 4 times, right? Up to 3 units around the target. So it's an AoE, but really a multi-target hit that is the target and then 3 adjacent enemies. From what I can tell, it's really just in the square in front of him. So it's if he's able to block those people. I will say, if we go back to the attributes and I go here, his base block is 2 like a normal fighter. You could put him in a Lunacy Visor, which you'll see him in later in this video. It actually works very well for him. So right now he's in his exclusive, excuse me. But if we throw the Lunacy Visor on over here, you will see he'll get an extra block. It's 3, and then as we'll see in his ult for a second, this can go all the way up to 5, because when he's ulting, he can get 2 extra block. So you can already see they're kind of pushing us towards tankiness and him being the one to take the aggro, him being the one. But then other stuff points you away from that. So let's go to the basic attack, just normal damage. Everything's going to be skilled up that you're going to see here, guys. 120% damage to one enemy. He does normal damage. That is worth mentioning. There's no magic damage in his kit. Even though this guy looks like he's a total infernal from the depths of hell kind of guy. His name is Magmus, like magma. He doesn't do any burning. He's not infernal. He's a nightmare unit dealing normal physical damage. So just 120% single target. So we had the AoE here, which is really multi-target, right? Not a proper AoE. AoE is going to usually be at least 7 targets, if not 8 to 10. This is only 4, right? The principal unit and then up to 3 around them. Now we've got straight up single target, whatever. That's just the basic. Now we've got, let's actually go to the ultimate. You can see here, now we're getting something very interesting. Lava Flow. He turns the ground around him, which everything that I've tested and the way that if you look at his ult range when it's doing, there's no extra range. By this, it's really just the tile right in front of him and his tile. It's lava. It's dealing 70% damage to enemies per second. So it is damage over time, but it's just his normal damage. It's not magic damage or anything like that. And certainly it's not piercing damage. During the effect, he gets the block up, and now he doubles his max HP. So whatever HP you built on him, now it's going to be double that. It's up 100%. This lasts for 15 seconds. You can see fairly normal to slightly cheap cost at 800, a nice initial cost at 400. 15 seconds, you do wish it lasted longer. 15 seconds is up pretty quick for a skill that isn't that strong. I mean, 70% damage per second, and that is a theme you will see in his kit. Like someone, aside from Ardia, who just has the highest attack and amazing multipliers, if you look at people like Magmus or Kriya, who are tops of their class for base attack, they compensated by giving them so much. They tried to balance it, the devs, by giving them so much attack, by giving them pretty crap multipliers, mind my language. But that's kind of what this comes out to. Now Retribution, so another interesting wrinkle in his kit. He is a counter-attack hero. When he receives damage, you got a 35% chance, so just over 1 in 3, to counterattack and deal some damage, and also inflict vulnerability, right? So it's a physical damage vulnerability. However, that's to one enemy in range. Interesting thing here, they don't really tell you. It just says dealing damage and inflicting vulnerability. I assume it means he does his basic attack. So it's a single target vulnerability that only lasts for 5 seconds. 20%, very nice, but only 5 seconds. Again, single target when it seems like they wanted him doing multi-target and AoE. What's going on here? One enemy in range. And it can only be triggered 1 time every 5 seconds. So once it's off cooldown, so you landed it, it lasts for 5 seconds. Again, only on one target. He can't be spamming it around from target to target, just on that one person. Now it's off. Now the 5 seconds is over. Now he can do it again. On average, he'll have to be hit about 3 times. You know, sometimes he'll be lucky, sometimes he won't be lucky, and he won't do these retributions. The damage isn't that good, and honestly, the vulnerability kind of sucks because it's single target. If it was to all enemies in range, that'd be awesome. His range is so small anyway, but that's not it. You know, even if it was the equivalent of the Magma Burst and it was like a quad hitter, main target and 3 around it. But the way it stands now, I actually find it just useless. I really do. Like, it seems like it wants to be doing it for boss damage, but that's not really where he's going to shine because his multipliers are such trash. Like, it really could work if there was an AoE component here, but there is not. Now to the worst part of his kit. This is why, if there's any angst in me, which there probably is, any anger towards this hero, because like I said, he's not that bad. It's just this skill. I'll try to find the comment from yesterday when I mentioned Magmus and asked you guys if you wanted me to make this guide, and you guys said yes. And then someone said this skill in particular, the word they used was unintuitive, which means not intuitive, which means it doesn't really make sense within itself. And I think that was spot on, that word, unintuitive. It feels exactly flipped. So this one I will read verbatim. Hellborn, his passive. When HP is higher than 80%, increases all damage reductions. Now he's going to take less damage by 25%. That is when his HP is super high. Now he's tankier when he's super healthy and doesn't need to be tankier. Then, when HP is below 80%, increases damage by 25%. And this is when it's all max skilled, right? So when he's in a precarious spot, when he's losing health, under 80%, when he's on, all the way down to 0%, right? He's going to have this big damage boost, a 1.25x multiplier. But that's not how he's built. He's built to be super full of HP, super healthy. He's your tank. You don't want his health low, but also you want him dealing damage. That's the fun. That's why you're going to use him instead of a normal tank. So what's going on here? This feels exactly inverted. It's like this is almost chaotic-like. HP's getting low, now he does more damage. That's not what this guy is. This guy's a big nightmare fighter tank guy, right? It should be when he's nice and high and healthy, he's dealing more damage. It should be above 80% or maybe make it like 60% or 65%. When he's above that threshold, he's going to deal more damage. When he's below, oh no, now your tanky fighter guy is in a tough spot. Now he's going to be tankier. Now he's going to have increased damage reductions. But it's exactly the opposite. Very unintuitive. So I will definitely find the comment. So thank you to you. I don't know your name, but I'll put the comment up. Thank you to this guy for using that word because it's just spot on. I don't like it at all. So they want Magmus to be some tank god who also does some damage. Fun little guy. They found he was so important to add that we needed another nightmare fighter. Is it worth it? Not really. Not really. We have a free nightmare fighter, as you're going to see at the end. We'll compare him directly to Abomination. That does the job just fine. Let's quickly do Awakenings, and I'll show you how I geared him. So it was A1. It's pretty good. Inflicts defense reduction on enemies in range when Lava Flow is in effect, so anyone that he's kind of taking. So this is like a proper AoE, or at least in his tiny little range AoE defense reduction. It's only 10%, but that does make a difference because it helps you have your attack high enough more easily to clear those defense thresholds by bringing them down to 90% of what they normally would be. This I do like. It's not game-changing, at least as I can see it. If there was more consistent AoE in his kit, and you could be like, if from the vulnerabilities, from this skill over here, the Retribution, if that was AoE everyone in range the way this is, then it's like, wow, okay, he's really debuffing and making it harder on these enemies and easier for us to kill them with defense down, defense break and a physical damage vulnerability, increased damage taken. That's not what's happening though. But this is fine. His A2 plus 300 attack. It's nice, but his damage multipliers are not good. So going from like 7,900 plus to 8,200 plus, I don't know how much that moves the needle. This plus 300 is less significant than other heroes that get plus 300 because it's a smaller percentage increase than what it would be on another hero, right? If someone's base attack was 4,600 and they get an extra 300, that's a lot more impactful than 7,900 and an extra 300. I kind of hate this A2. They should make it 5% or something like that, right? So let's soldier on here. When Retribution is triggered, gains 1 stack of Magma Burst. So now whenever he gets a counterattack, he can get extra seconds. So there's another way to build it besides just it showing up every 7 seconds from the passive. I think this one's pretty cool. This could be the A1 maybe. I feel like that'd be more viable and more of an immediate impact. A4 over here, penetration 8%, very standard. And then his A5 is really good. During his ultimate, Lava Flow, Retribution becomes available instantly. There's no cooldown, so it's not like you land it and then you have to wait 5 seconds. So he can keep spamming it, ideally to different targets. I don't think that is how it would always be, but if it could be like that sometimes, this would be better. I think all in all, the physical vulnerability, if you can't tell, I think that needs to be reworked and at least be multi-target, if not AoE. He's got a small little range anyway. Why not? All in all, I think probably you will need Awakenings to feel like he shines, and even then, I don't think he'll be such a star hero. I was just on Twitch chatting about him, and someone mentioned, yeah, he kind of really needs A5, and even still, there's like 12 or 15 other heroes I'd rather have A5. I think it's a lot more than 12 or 15, to be perfectly frank. All in all, though, pretty fine, but you can see what I mean when I use that word confused, or when the commenter that I shared before uses the word unintuitive, because a lot of things in this kit just don't seem very well thought through. We have heroes where you really can see the care put into their kit. Someone like Lust, beautiful synergies within this kit and within her faction. Magmus, no, not bad, not good. So here's how I geared him. I did some testing before. You won't see that here, but as you can see, he was wearing his exclusive. I will say if you want to get damage out of him, his exclusive is kind of key. You can see when it's maxed out here. Do I have a base level copy to show you? Not currently. But you can see increases each instance of Lava's flow damage by 15% of the hero's max HP. Actually, if I go to the Forge, I should be able to show you what the base copy looks like, right? If I go to Forge Preview, I should be able to click on this stuff. Where is that Lava's flow here? Volcanic Heart. So you can see it only starts out as 5%. Isn't that crazy? So it does scale really well, but most of you will only have it like this. Each instance of lava flow, so whenever that happens, that 70% damage, now you're also doing 5% damage based off of max HP. So you can see it is a nice way to get extra damage since they're encouraging you within his kit to build extra HP on him. But I do think most people you're going to run him as a tank. You're going to run him in a Lunacy Visor. So that is what I did here, and you'll see later. Let's go to the rest of the gearing. I'll just say, if you don't know what Lunacy Visor is, you get an extra block. That is huge. And then whenever they deal damage, regardless of how much damage, they're going to restore HP. At base level, I do have a copy of this here to show you. At base level, it's going to be 0.7%, and it's up to 3 targets. So when he does do those multi-targets and AoEs, he'll get some nice big heals. And then when it's maxed out, it's 1.2% per target. So if you're hitting up to 3 targets, it's 3.6% as opposed to 2.1. It's pretty sizable. I think most people will run him like this, because he will run him like a proper tank. We're doing Soulbound because, of course, we are. It's still buggy. It's still the best way. Build those max stacks ASAP. You can see I'm running 1 HP piece on him because I wanted him tanky enough to tank the Artifact Mature Raid boss, as you're about to see. This is a nice piece. We got a nice flat HP roll, a little bit of crit rate. Attack bonus always at 95% crit rate. I think that's very realistic for how a lot of people are going to build him. This piece is very nice. We got our DPS substats and some HP. We did want him nice and tanky, and it is easy to build him that way because he has a big pool of HP to draw from. Same pattern here, and then you'll see just straight up DPS, and then over here I was hunting for some HP as well, a little bit of defense. It is what it is. That's the build. I think this is kind of how you want to build him. Maybe 1 HP piece and then some other attack bonus pieces. You can go crit damage, but when you have such high stats, might as well scale with them. 1% attack bonus boost, or 66% if you max out one of these premium pieces, is going to go a lot farther than on another hero because he's got such high base stats to work from. So you can actually see, if we go to the gear here, almost 29k attack without too much work going into it, right? The gear is good. It's not insane. And it's not like I was so actively trying to get his attack as high as possible. It just kind of happens, baby. Kind of like Ardia. I mean, his attack is through the roof. HP pretty good, over 65k. There's the base block, stays at 2. Fairly fast, not too fast. 282, we got him at 2.1 second interval. Nearly crit caps, 239% crit damage. We kind of took an L there. All in all, it's a solid build. It's pretty good gear, and this is the gear that it took for him to solo the AMR boss. You're going to see that footage right now. I guess before we go into that, I'll just tell you, I'm going to run him like this. Also, regarding gearing, if you wanted, great candidate for Glacier, right? The same way, if you guys ever see my Abomination when I do my streams in Void Rift, great Glacier candidate. Get that extra boost, the 6% HP towards attack, that becomes converted. Let me find if I have any Glacier pieces just to show you. So you can see gains in attack bonus equal to 6% max HP when deployed. Very good candidate for that. But yeah, for maximum potency, I think for everybody basically, in almost all content, any longer form content, it's going to be Soulbound Arcana right now. Then I'll immediately gear swap him with Abomination, run him in this gear. You'll see me do it in the clip I already filmed. And then we'll have Abomination tank the boss and see how that goes. I will time it so we have a direct comparison. I think I've kind of already broken him down very well, or I hope I have, but I think you need to see him in action. Because I think some people are just going to think he's terrible, and I think once you see him in action, you'll be like, he's not terrible. He just has a very confused, very unintuitive kit, and he's not special. So it's not the biggest L ever, but it's definitely not the biggest W. All right, let's do some play testing. Let's get into it. So, as I am sure you can tell, I am not the biggest fan of Magnus, but I do want to show him off in a place that he can shine. So you can see POD is off. We're going to have him solo DPS, Artifact Mature Rate 18. I will say, this took work getting it to work. Like, it was not perfectly smooth like it would be if we did something like with Valeria, but he can do it. He is in very good gear. He's in like some tanky Soulbound gear with a ton of attack. He obviously has very, very nice base stats, as we discussed. And he is in a maxed out Lunacy Visor. You could get more damage if you ran him in his exclusive, but you'll get less survivability. As it is, it's not so easy to keep him alive, at least with this comp using Eloin that we're running. So let's hop into this fight. You're going to see everyone there is just to support the sides and stuff. Really, just Eloin's going to be healing him. He is going to solo DPS. I will have a timer. We'll probably fast forward to the end. I will have it on 2x speed, so take the timer and double it if you want to know what it would be in real time. Let me actually open that timer up right about now. Aside from that, we'll begin the fight. And then I think after, something I want to try is just directly swapping his gear with Abomination and seeing how Abomination stacks up in terms of both time and if he's able to do it at all. Because I think there's a chance Abomination might just be straight up better, but there's only one way to find out. So let's head into the battle right about now. Let me pop open my timer. I'll talk you through the original placements, and then we'll fast forward to the end. So here we go. Let's start that thing, and let's go. So we're going to place Magnus in that main spot tanking. We want him taking damage from the boss so we can trigger those Retribution counterattacks. We're going to use Dallin just to get one trigger of cost, because why not? It will help us get our Nightmare units out faster and take care of the lanes faster. We can also throw these ults on auto, doesn't matter. Wait for her to trigger. Looks like she just did. She must have, yeah. Okay, so we go there. Now we can get, I will say, like from my testing, kind of just been amazingly impressed by Volca post-buff more than anything. Even though this was supposed to be a Magmus showcase I was prepping for. So I will say, I definitely have to make a Volca guide. She's really impressive now, I think. She handles this like it's nothing, and the gear's not even that crazy. So I'm going to wait. I'll do some Wood Elf management. I'll end up putting Arrogance here. I'll put Zelo 2 here. And that's basically it. I'll wait for Arrogance just so you guys can see. This is a good time to place the Wood Elf. And then we will fast forward to the end. Remember that time you're seeing is... I actually shouldn't even say it's perfectly, representative because I am having to manual this. I'll try to stop the manual at the same time. But actually, I'm going to manual the whole thing through, aren't I? So we'll throw it on 2x now. So that's the moment. At a minute 14, I threw it on 2x. And I'll check in with you guys in a second. And there we go. Time comes in at minute 55. Remember, I was manualing on 1x up till minute 14, so it's going to be slightly imperfect, but that sense, gives you a baseline. He did do it, so I don't want to act like he's a terrible hero. He certainly is not terrible. I just don't think he's going to be very good, very usable. I think he's a very easily buffed hero. They can easily improve him, invert that passive, make it a lot cleaner. You can see there's the damage at 10.4. It's always going to be about that since he's solo DPSing the boss. The boss isn't healing since none of the side guys are reaching him. It's basically, that is what it is, right? He can do it. He's not someone like Edith that I view as pretty darn useless and immensely replaceable with a million upgrades that are better than her. He can do something, right? So let's not act like he's total dog water, but let's also not act like he's good, at least from what I can see. You can let me know if you disagree. Let's go in here. I'm going to directly gear swap Magmus and, Abomination. Also, there's going to be use for him just to normally clear AMR, right? Like with way less gear, but you're just running a Nightmare comp. He's going to easily slot in because of his super high HP. You need over about 39,000 HP so you can tank those big blast hits from the boss for anyone in range. He will be very usable for that. So he's not a trash hero. He's just not a good hero. All right, let's go your gear swap, and then I'll just fast forward to when we have seen what happens. Yeah, so let's just swap him and Magmus. So you'll see Magmus is like the tank boy now, and Abomination's got some of that damage going. Abomination also has very high base stats, just not at Magmus level in terms of attack. Higher HP, though. So we'll hop right back in this battle, and we'll see what it's all about. That's 114. You can see Abomination definitely doing way worse than Magmus. I also realize I need to check Abomination's artifact. But Abomination absolutely can do it. I will say now he has that perma ult up, so that should help a lot. But yeah, I think we'll see. We're going to keep it going to see if Abomination indeed can do it. But regardless, Magmus was faster at this specific thing. But it's just showing you the free hero at least is keeping pace in some respect because it's working. I think that's kind of all you need to know. And Abomination has more natural synergistic tanky things as opposed to a weird, confused kit. Like the kit itself does not know what it's trying to be. But let's see. This is where the nasty part comes. Let's see if we can make it to the end. And certainly it looks like we will. I will say another way Abomination is better is he's putting out these burns, which are magic damage. So that will help you in a lot of content you need AoE, where you need magic damage. And there it is. Oop, I missed stopping the watch by just a second. So let's stop it there. So I think it was about 227. So you can see a little bit slower, but absolutely worked. Let's actually, of course, take a peek at that artifact because I do want to know what he's wearing. That's the one thing I forgot to clean swap. I think it's likely he's wearing something comparable. But who knows? Maybe he's not wearing anything at all, and then I'll have to rerun it. Now, thank God he's wearing something. So he's wearing a maxed out version of his artifact, which is actually trash. It's just allowing him to get that ult up faster. Basically, the Lunacy Visor is just allowing him extra block, which he doesn't need, allowing him heals, which he clearly didn't need. This isn't giving him any extra damage. It's just allowing the ult to come up faster, so it probably makes more sense. And then, of course, the flat stat contribution of HP and attack from a plus 25 artifact was identical. So I think it's actually a pretty fair comparison. Magmus did better. I think in a lot of ways Magmus is going to take this Abomination role, but I think for a lot of things, Abomination will reign supreme. He's 100% free to play. You will fuse him, no problem. They're both at A0. You'll see over here he has the burning. He's just got some natural things that allow him to be a bit more of a tank. When his HP drops, he gets that invulnerability. He gets HP restoration. I actually just think he is going to be the better hero, at least for a lot of the use cases that I'm thinking of. But that is not to say Magmus is not useful. I don't think he's good, but he will obviously have uses, especially if you get him earlier mid-game. Like, he's honestly the kind of hero I don't mind getting added. Does he dilute the pool? Yes. But is he bad? Not really. He's like fine. Which is kind of what you want your bad legendaries to be. He should be the bottom of the legendaries, or maybe slightly worse than him. You know, usable, but not very good, but like will help certain players, not just like total trash like Azor, if we're being honest. Or honestly, Edith. Edith is just so bad. I will say one final thing. If they could clean up this kit and have it make a bit more sense, why is this not inverted? As I said, why is this not the inverse, as I discussed before? When his HP is high, that's when he should do more damage. Now he's at full health. Now he's rearing to go. And then when you get into a tough spot, maybe they can make this 60%. You know, when he's under that level, okay, now he needs some more tankiness, because clearly they want him to function as a tank, as we can see from the increase in max HP, the extra block, the exclusive artifact that scales with the max HP. But right now, the whole thing is just kind of a mess. You've got single target in weird places, mixing with the AoE, mixing with the multi-target. I think the whole kit, the perfect word for it is it is confused. The kit is confused. So let's give the kit some clarity. I think he's an immediate candidate to get buffed or at least cleaned up, but certainly he is not terrible. I hope this opens some of your eyes to what this hero is, what it can be. If you have any other thoughts, let me know in the comments. All in all, fine. Fine, okay? He's fine. I've been Fastidious. If you like my stuff, like it. Get in the comments again. Let me know what you think. Subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Share it with your mother. And I'll see you real soon.
Fastidious.